Okay. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. And boy, you know what's going down today, so get what? Now turn it off, turn it all the way off, yeah. Oh man, how's everybody doing today? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life, that there sports podcast where we talk about all them hot topics that need to be discussed in the world of sports, as well as the topics of life. And like I've been saying for about the last 3 months, it's been a lot more life than sports. But I'm going to tell you, sports is hitting the forefront with the combination of life out this mother lover. But anyway, I hope everybody is doing good, feeling good. It is the summertime. Now, normally, over really pretty much the last year, I've been doing one episode a week, but it's been so much stuff going on over the last 24 hours. I had to drop in my 2 cents, and I needed to do it on more than just a Sports Plus Life quickie to those who really follow me. But yes, been a bunch of stuff going on. But again, it's summertime. It's hot than a motherfucker outside. In Richmond, VA, about 88, 89 degrees in Richmond, VA today. But I hope everybody is doing good, feeling good. Like I said, I had to put my 2 cents up in here, so I'm going to let everybody know it is Wednesday, July the 8th, 2020. And we just gonna dive right into it. So without further ado, my people, let's get to it. I'm rich, bitch! It's probably what Pat Mahomes is saying right now, because Patrick Mahomes just secured the bag. I did a Sports Plus Life quickie just not too long after I found out the contract, the deal that had been signed, and it was like right after I had uploaded the Sports Plus Life episode that I did on Monday. But Patrick Mahomes, boy, I'm talking about get in the busy. Biatch. The Kansas City Chiefs signed Patrick Mahomes to a 10-year contract extension worth up to, I believe, $400 to $450 million, something along that line. Excellent. Looking at about $40 to $45 million guaranteed, well, $40 to $45 million per season. And, man, I'm going to tell you, it is the richest contract in the history of pro sports. Patrick Mahomes, who just won the Super Bowl, was Super Bowl MVP, is just his second full year starting in his third season out of Texas Tech. His first season as a full-time starter, which was his second season, he won the NFL MVP and took the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game. Last season, which was his third actual season, second as a full-time starter, he led the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, and he has gotten the contract of contracts, or so it may appear. Because initially when I saw that, I mean, those are eye-popping numbers. The first thing I saw was 10-year, $400 million. I'm like, damn. 10 years, $400 million? God damn. That about sums it up. But once you get past the initial eye shock, because that's what that really is, an eye shock when you read breaking news like that, then you have to really think about it logically, because his contract was like 130 pages long. It's crazy. So you figure, over that 10-year time period, the contract actually can be worth, if every incentive is met and there are no renegotiations or restructuring of the contract, and every incentive is met, Patrick Mahomes could make over $500 million when this contract was up. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see him getting that full amount of money, although I could see him getting about 3/4 of it. Now, Reggie Bush, yesterday on Undisputed, broke it down in a little bit different of a term, where he thinks that, Patrick Mahomes almost got the short end of the deal.
Well, I think this contract that Patrick Mahomes did is going to affect a lot of quarterbacks, because one of the issues that I saw with the contract is him committing to the Kansas City Chiefs for 10 to 12 years. That's just too long. And a guy like Patrick Mahomes does not have to do that, right? One of the things about NFL football players and the league that people need to understand is that we cannot think like basketball players. We cannot think like baseball players in contracts because our contracts are not fully guaranteed. And so Kirk Cousins kind of gave you the blueprint, right? He showed you how to do it, get a fully guaranteed contract, which Patrick Mahomes can demand. He's one of those guys that can demand a fully guaranteed contract. And so when you go to the table, you got to think about the other guys as well. You got to think about the guys behind you because you bring them along, right? And so when Patrick Mahomes doesn't get a fully guaranteed contract, Jerry Jones is going to use that as a comp, right? And so that's what people need to understand. When you're the best player and you get paid a lot of money, your contract now becomes a comp for other players, right? And so if you don't get guaranteed contract, then other players will not get a guaranteed contract because Jerry Jones is going to say, well, look, Dak Prescott, I like you, you're great, but you're not Patrick Mahomes. You're not doing what he did. So how can I feel comfortable to give you a fully guaranteed contract, right? And then the other thing is just committing for far too long, right? I think Patrick Mahomes could have done it 4 or 5 years at a time and taken his time because he can demand that. Because that's one of the reasons why we work so hard so we can build up leverage, right? Patrick Mahomes just gave away all his leverage because the one thing that NFL players always have is we have the threat of leaving, right? The threat of going to another team, very similar to how Dak Prescott is doing right now. But when you have the best player in the NFL that's willing to sign these kinds of contracts, what that does is it sends a message to the owners. And I think Lee Steinberg, Patrick Mahomes' agent, I think he did his client a disservice because I think he sold him on the big number, right? The $450 million number that came out. It's the mega blockbuster number. But at the end of the day, it's not fully guaranteed. So that's not true. It's not the richest contract in sports history because the only thing that was guaranteed to Patrick Mahomes was $63 million, which does not make sense to me when you're a Patrick Mahomes. You have to get more money guaranteed than that. You got a $450 million contract and only $63 million guaranteed. Now, what that says is you've committed to the Kansas City Chiefs for 10 years, but they have not committed to you for 10 years.
Now, if you listen to that, Reggie Bush really can make you think as far as that is concerned because I don't think he's throwing any shade at Patrick Mahomes. I think he's just looking at it truly from the business side of the aspect. Patrick Mahomes got what amounts to a baseball contract. The difference is that baseball players get the fully guaranteed money. Remember, Mike Trout just a year ago signed about a 12-year, $400 million contract, but he's going to see every penny of that money. And of course, because, baseball has no salary cap. Now, on face value, like I said, the eye shock of seeing those numbers in the contract is quite astounding. But Reggie Bush said that this is not the richest contract in sports history because he's only guaranteed $63 million, which was the signing bonus that he signed for. I've heard in other places that he's guaranteed $140 million, and that's no matter what, injury, whatever. So either way, like I said, the contract looks great. Reggie Bush Patrick Mahomes should still be screaming until the cows come home. I'm rich, bitch! But there's a number, a big number in that contract that he is going to have to earn to get that money because it looks like a very cap-friendly contract, which is always a good thing because what people sometimes tend to forget because they're strictly looking at dollars and cents is that you want to make your money, but you also want to leave enough on the table so that you can keep the team that you're playing with competitive. Why do you think that the New England Patriots have been so dominant for so long, all the way up until Tom Brady left? Because Tom Brady took team-friendly contracts. Tom Brady has never been the highest paid quarterback in the sport at any time in his career. He still will not be the highest paid quarterback, even though he will be making $25 million each of the next 2 seasons that he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he does the team-friendly deal so that the teammates around him can also eat, so that the team can continue to be competitive. And this does appear like a cap-friendly deal. Plus, I believe Patrick Mahomes truly realized that in the next 2 years, Kansas City would have him by the balls anyway. So what he did what Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, he did what they did and took that extension before he could get into free agency, before he could get franchise tagged. Now, though, here's the catch to that. It's a lot of twists and turns in this contract discussion because right now, the smartest person in the room still appears to be Kirk Cousins. And I'm going to tell you why, or Kirk Cousins' agent. And again, I will tell you exactly why. Kirk Cousins' last 2 years with the Washington Redskins, he was franchise tagged both years. Both years making over $20 million. The second year where he was franchise tagged, making almost $30 million. That was fully guaranteed money he bet on himself. But obviously the Redskins did not believe him because they didn't sign him to a long-term deal and they let him walk. Then he goes to the Minnesota Vikings and signs a 3-year, $84 million deal. What was special about that? The $84 million was fully guaranteed. The only contract in the NFL where the full contract was guaranteed. So you think about that. So over 5 seasons, Kirk Cousins, a slightly above average quarterback, who's only won 1 career playoff game and been to the playoffs twice in his career, over the course of 5 seasons, made over $120 million guaranteed dollars, and then this past summer just signed an extension, a 2-year extension, paying him over $60 million, fully guaranteed. Think about this, a slightly above average quarterback by the name of Kirk Cousins, in a 7-year span will have made fully guaranteed money equaling up to over $180 million. Now that doesn't sound good to the eye test because, you're saying, okay, well, he signed a 3-year, $84 million deal. Patrick Mahomes just got $450 million, but that's over a span of 12 years. And Kirk Cousins, over this span of 7 years, will have signed 4 different contracts. So he's played his hand brilliantly. Now, like I'm not poo-pooing on Patrick Mahomes because this motherfucker got the bag. He went for the money and he went for the security. And he didn't want to go through the ringer like what Kirk Cousins and I guess now what Dak Prescott is being put through. And you know what? God bless him. I'm glad he got that money. I'm glad he got that security. But remember, he has to go out and perform ultimately because this is football now. Let's just say in 5 years, his game totally falls off and they're ready to move on. Well, he'll still only be 29 years old. But if his game falls off to whatever, injuries, whatever, on the Kansas City Chiefs side of things, that would make it real hard to possibly trade him because ain't nobody going to take on that contract. And if they cut him, he would still be owed a lot of dead money. So, you hope for the Kansas City Chiefs' sake that it's a win-win. I'm a Denver Broncos fan, so, twice a year I'll be rooting against him. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm a Broncos fan, but I sure would love to have him on my side. And what's even better for me is that this is quote unquote the richest contract in the history of American professional sports, and it's a brother who gets that contract. I love it because you think about, this is deserved, it's well deserved. If you think about how far the journey for the black quarterback has come when it comes to the NFL. This past season was the year of the black quarterback. The top 4 out of the top 5 quarterbacks, 4 of them were black. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. And then I guess if you wanted to throw Drew Brees in there as the 5th best quarterback, fine, have at it. But this was the year of the black quarterback. It's only fitting that a black quarterback won the Super Bowl and got Super Bowl MVP. And it's only fitting that he gets the richest contract in pro sports history. American pro sports history. Now, let me tell you something. The Lamar Jackson era is still here. Now, if the Ravens win the Super Bowl next year, or this coming up football season, and he's the MVP, he would be just leaving out of his 3rd season, just like Patrick Mahomes. You may see that contract topped but with less years on that date. Trust me, every quarterback, every free agent quarterback is looking at every nook and cranny of this contract. But again, I'm happy to see the brother get the job done. I mean, like I said, think about the journey that the black quarterback has had to take. How many black quarterbacks were so talented coming out of college, but they were asked to change their position because the narrative was, well, you know, they're not smart enough to be able to play the position of quarterback. We didn't come a long way since the days of when it was just Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham as your only two black quarterbacks in the league. I mean, think about it. Think about coming into this season, the 2020 football season, how many starting black quarterbacks we're going to have. We're going to have Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. We're going to have Tyrod Taylor. We'll have Dak Prescott, Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Kyler Murray. I mean, I'm telling you, that's about 10 quarterbacks that I named there. Eventually, you're going to have Tua starting in Miami. And, I mean, so you think about this, it's coming along well. I mean, just think about this. That's about 10 quarterbacks that I named, 10 black starting quarterbacks that I just named that will be in the NFL in the 2020 season. Think about 20 years ago. Think about 20 years ago in the year 2000. We thought we were really coming up then because that was one of the rare years where you looked at the quarterback landscape, you're like, it's a handful of black quarterbacks starting in the NFL. And back in 2000, a handful of black quarterbacks starting in the NFL was seen as an accomplishment. Let me name them off, and this is off the top of my head. Steve McNair, Donovan McNabb. You had McNair for the Titans, McNabb for the Eagles. You had Dante Culpepper for the Vikings. You had Jeff Blake for the New Orleans Saints. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Let's see. I said McNair, McNabb, Culpepper, Jeff Blake. I don't know if Akili Smith, who was in his second year for the Cincinnati Bengals, he may have been starting, so that would be 5. You had Sean King, who was starting, that's 6 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a black starting quarterback as well. So that was 6 in the year 2000. How could I forget? The beginning of the 2000 season, Tony Banks was starting for the Baltimore Ravens, who eventually won the Super Bowl. So think about that. Coming in the year 2000, you had 7 black starting quarterbacks, and it was seen as, oh my goodness. Now, a few of them turned out to be longtime starters, like Steve McNair. We know he was a longtime starter. He went on to be an MVP. McNabb was a longtime starter. Culpepper was a longtime starter. Jeff Blake, who was the Saints starting quarterback at the beginning of that season, was a longtime starter for the Cincinnati Bengals. And unfortunately, the team was 7-3 when he got injured, had a season-ending injury, and lost his job to Aaron Brooks, another black quarterback who was a great quarterback for the University of Virginia. And Aaron Brooks, when he came into the lineup, this is just a little history lesson, in 2000, went on the road and beat the defending champion St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf, and then turned around in a playoff game and beat the Rams, ending their Super Bowl reign. So he ended up being a longtime starting quarterback in the league. But think about that was 20 years ago, because those numbers did drop as we went on to the mid and late 2000s and into the 2010s. Those numbers dropped, and now they have elevated exponentially, and the black quarterback is now doing better than ever. And you have to take your hat off to Patrick Mahomes. You have to take your hat off to Russell Wilson. Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson, your day is coming. But yesterday was Patrick Mahomes' day, and there's something that I want to get off my chest. One thing that was annoying me when I was watching TV and watching these sports shows was everybody wanted to know was, how's the Patrick Mahomes contract gonna affect Dak Prescott? For the umpteenth time, why is it that Dak Prescott's potential contract situation garners so much attention? Who gives a fuck? Biatch. And I don't give a fuck what these Cowboy fans have to say about it. Well, they say, well, it's because he plays for the Cowboys. He's America's team. Miss me with that bullshit. because the Cowboys have not done shit for a quarter of a century now, okay? We spend so much time talking or listening to what the contract status will be for a fucking quarterback who A, missed the playoffs last year, who B, has only won one playoff game in his entire career. What are we talking about? Who cares about Dak Prescott's contract? Who cares? Deshaun Watson is better than him. Lamar Jackson is better than him. Russell Wilson is better than him. I don't care about Dak Prescott's. Look, he has a franchise tag contract, and he'll be making $31.4 million. You know what, Dak? Why don't you just play for the tag this year, play for the tag next year. If Jerry doesn't sign you to a long-term deal, then fuck him and go elsewhere and get guaranteed dollars like Kirk Cousins did. But fuck your contract situation. Straight up. Biatch. Straight up, because honestly, you're not deserving or worthy of all of the talk about your contract because you haven't done shit. And I'm not doing nothing but pointing out the obvious. If you want to talk about the Cowboys, and which is a subject I'm getting into now, talk about their punk-ass owner, Jerry Jones, and why he hasn't said anything about the social injustices that's been going on in this country forever. You was quick to point your chest out when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling in 2016 and say, oh, no Dallas Cowboy will do that. You will have, your left hand will have your helmet in it and your right hand will be over your heart for the national anthem. Now that that's in season, now that that's the thing to do, now that Colin Kaepernick has been proven to be the smartest man in the room, we can't hear your punk ass. Why? For the 30 years that you've owned the Dallas Cowboys, you've never been silent. Now you ain't got shit to say? Oh, I said at the end of last episode I was going to get in his ass today. And you're damn right I am. Because it's ridiculous, and I'm tired of these little Cowboy fans trying to defend him. Oh, well, Jerry just don't want to say that. No, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it 100% all the way real with you, okay? Because that's what the fuck we do on Sports Plus Life. The reason why Jerry is so silent is because he has a fan base of Cowboys fans in Texas and Oklahoma and across the country that don't give a fuck about Black Lives Mattering. And he doesn't want to alienate their dollars. And that is bullshit. That is bullshit. He's choosing money over what's morally right. I don't want to hear about Jerry K winning this situation. That's fucking bullshit. He's choosing green over what's morally right. That's why he's been so damn silent. And he's not the only owner that's been silent. No, these NFL owners, they're proving they're taking the money over what's morally right. The majority of them. Not the owner for the Las Vegas Raiders. No. Not Robert Kraft. No. Not Jeffrey Lurie for the Philadelphia Eagles. No. Not the ownership of my Denver Broncos. No. Not Shad Khan of the Jacksonville Jaguars, because he's Pakistan. But the rest of you? May please. And why is Jerry Jones being pointed out is because he is the face of the owners of the NFL. He is the most charismatic. He is the loudmouth. He's the one that has his own press conference after each Cowboys football game. The only owner to do that. God damn it. And now all of a sudden, he's silent when it comes to social justice and social inequalities. But I don't want to hear, well, he loves his black players. They're making him money. They're making him money. And now Don Terry Poe says, I'm going to kneel during the national anthem when we play football. Good for you. Good for you. Because I don't want to hear a damn thing from these Cowboy fans. Nah. Y'all poke y'all chests out for nothing. Anyway, you've poked your chest out for nothing over the last 25 years. Don't poke your chest out about your owner now, who all of a sudden the cat got his tongue when it comes to Black Lives Matter and racial equality throughout this country. Yeah, jig is up, fuckhead. Yeah, I hope the Cowboys go 0-16. Well, I hope that every year. But I really, America, whoever root against the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I said it. Root against them. And they own them. Because he has anything else to say. Like I said, 2016, he poked his chest out big time. Speaking against Colin Kaepernick. Against him kneeling, against trying to basically taking the stance of Donald Trump, who hijacked the whole narrative. and said, no, this is about the flag and the military. Oh, he stuck his nuts out then. Now that people are protesting, that people are saying Black Lives Matter, that the year 2020 truly has been the year of clear vision, now your mark ass don't want to say nothing. Miss me with that. Cancel his ass. Okay? Cancel his ass. Oh, I said I was going to get Jerry Jones today. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, oh, man, I'm telling you. And I also said, hey, Daniel Snyder, what you going to do, bro? The pressure's on. Time to change the name. Time to change the name. You know, I mean, I'll be real with you. I guess I never saw, I mean, because the name Redskins never hit home as an offensive thing for me, because I just looked at it as a football team. But if somebody came out with a team called the Richmond Jigaboos or the Richmond Dark Faces or Black Faces, I'd have an issue with that. So if it's offensive to one, then, you know, if it's offensive to one person, then you know it's probably somebody else out there that's offended by it. Why is this so damn difficult? Why is this so damn difficult? Change the damn name. And see, this is the problem with a lot of people out here in the society today. You see that change is happening and people don't want to embrace it because they're afraid of change, because they want to live by that fucking code, make America great again, when it was great for one ethnic group of people. Change the name to the Washington Natives. I mean, for God's sakes, how offensive would that be? You wouldn't have to change the emblem. You wouldn't have to change the colors. And I'm here, well, you know, Joe Gibbs coached the Washington Redskins. He didn't coach Washington, question mark. So if the Redskins change their name, you know, let's say for dummy's sake, they change their name to the Washington Rhinos. I don't care. But it's the same franchise, same organization. Would Joe Gibbs' records be erased? No. Would their 3 Super Bowls be erased? No. And with the fact that they've sucked for damn near the last 30 years, will that change either? No. Change the name. Stop being a bitch. Change the name. Goodness gracious. Because at the end of the day, when people kick off that football, ain't nobody gonna care. Change the name. Like I said, if you want to keep the emblem, change the name to Natives. That way you don't have to go through all the other stuff, because you're going to lose FedEx, who's your endorser. You're going to lose Nike and you lose Pepsi. $620 billion worth of revenue of endorsements lost because you want to be stubborn. Come on, bruh. I mean, that's just dumb. I mean, for real. That's just stupid. I mean, change the name, because you're being a stubborn fan. You're being a stubborn fan / billionaire. Okay? That's really what it is. That's really what it is. Oh boy, I've been on fire today. Boy, I've been on fire. And keeping it football, Desean Jackson. Oh man. You know, Desean Jackson, I guess, posted out a tweet. I haven't read it. I'm not gonna read it because it's you know, it's really no point to read it. I guess it was something that was a quote by Hitler, and it really rubbed the Jewish community the wrong way. Now, that was dumb. What Desean Jackson did was flat out dumb, wrong. You don't quote Hitler for anything. Even if you say I'm Adolf Hitler and I want a bowl of cereal, you leave that shit alone. You do not quote anything that Hitler says. Even if Hitler said the sky is blue, you keep that to yourself. You know what I mean? I'm serious, because this man was the closest thing to Satan walking the earth. So you leave that alone. Now, what I am going to say is this, and Steven Jackson, you've been so great. You've been pretty much the leader of this movement. Stay out of this one, bro. To be honest, stay out of it. Stay out of this one. Okay? Let's stay focused like you want everybody to do on the task at hand. Leave this one alone, because the Philadelphia Eagles find themselves in quite a pickle. because I know they want to release Desean Jackson. I know they do. And Desean Jackson has come out and apologized and said he'll do better, and he wants to work with the Jewish community, and has already called a couple of rabbis, and that's good. That's great. I mean, this could be a true teachable moment for him. But the Eagles, oh yeah, they want to release him. I mean, their owner is Jewish. Their general manager is Jewish. But you can't release Desean Jackson. Do you know why you can't release Desean Jackson? Riley Cooper. Obviously, Riley Cooper. Remember 7 years ago when Riley Cooper said on camera at a country concert, I will jump over the gate and fight every nigger here. Remember that? Oh yeah, that. And the only person who really saved his ass as far as not getting it whooped on that team was Michael Vick. Yeah, the Eagles didn't cut him. You know, they just sent him home pretty much. They sent him home for the weekend. I guess sent him to some sensitivity class, something that was pretty much a flat out joke. And then for the icing on the cake, for the cherry on the sundae, they gave him a contract extension. They gave him a raise. Riley Cooper said he would fight every nigga here, and he got a raise. Ain't that a bitch? So if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you better not release Desean Jackson. Oh, hell no. You better not, because as much as the owner and the general manager might have been offended by his comments that were flat out dumb, what about those black players and black coaching staff that was on that 2013 team when Riley Cooper uttered that, and then watch this motherfucker get a raise? Desean Jackson was on that team. He got traded. Riley Cooper got a raise. Ain't that a bitch? You know what I mean? So come on, think about that. I'm not defending what Desean Jackson tweeted by no means, but if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, because you had this happen before and you let this player slide who happened to be white, you cannot sit here and cut the player who was black. Nah, you got to eat this one. And you don't even suspend him a game. Riley Cooper didn't get suspended a game. I heard Skip Bayless saying you have to suspend him for at least one game. No, you don't. Nuh-uh. No, not because it's the Eagles. If it was any other team and they decided to cut him, I'd be like, hey, well, what can you say? But the Philadelphia Eagles, no. Drew Brees didn't get cut when he said what he said. Gundy from Oklahoma State, the football coach, he didn't get cut. I mean, he didn't lose his job. No, you can't get rid of Desean Jackson. It was incredibly stupid, Desean. Do better. Do better. But the Philadelphia Eagles bet not cut him. They cannot cut him because they're gonna have 2013, and they will be totally called hypocrites if they do that. And I think they know that. They know that. They know it for sure. Oh yeah. Oh, you cannot let that brother go. And he's better than Riley Cooper any fucking way. Well, I'm on fire. I'm on fire today. Woohoo! Boy, I'm on fire. Excuse me, I'm porched. Yes, sir. Jerry fucking Jones. What a twerp. I'm sorry. That was just random. That was just random. Well, tomorrow everybody will be in place in their bubble in Orlando. Season starts in 3 weeks. And the NBA is about to get to it. Another player, Spencer Dinwiddie from the New Jersey Nets, has said he is not going to play due to the coronavirus. Like I said, I don't know why the Nets are going down there. Bradley Beal has said that his shoulder is hurt. He's been dealing with a hurt shoulder. He will not play in the restart. And Joel Embiid says he's uncomfortable. Well, I mean, like I said, all I can say is we'll see what happens. What will happen. But I will say this about the living conditions of some of the people in the bubble in the WNBA. That's just fucked up on so many levels. That's just fucked up. I saw the video today. I saw it, and it is disgusting. How could you have your female professional athletes living like you just stepped out of a Section 8 apartment? That ain't even Section 8. That bitch was Section 5. I'm serious. That's just nasty, man. You got to do better than that. You got to treat our sisters better than that. I mean, I'm serious. No. I wouldn't be mad if those sisters decided to say, no, hell no, we ain't playing. Damn that. And I've already heard that a number of them say that they're not playing until that co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, who said she's opposed to the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, some people are just downright dumb. But when stuff like this happens, you see people's true colors come out. And she tried to spin it and say, you know, sports is supposed to bring stuff together. Sports are supposed to bring people together. You know, there needs to be less politics in sports. Then why does your commander-in-chief constantly have something to say about athletes out of his mouth? So just shut up. You one of these little conservative little bastards, and look, I'd like to see myself as an independent because I don't trust none of them motherfuckers. But these little conservative bastards want to tell somebody, shut up and dribble. Man, please. These people out here just need to shut up. That's all. Don't do nothing. Just shut the fuck up. Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta needs to dream your ass go away. If I was the WNBA players, I wouldn't play because of that shit right there. I mean, for real. Huh. Oh, man. But I told you it was going down today on Sports Plus Life. I meant exactly what I said. So, oh, man. Oh, snap. Hold up. Wait a minute. This is breaking news right here. The Ivy League has rules out playing all sports this fall. So no Ivy League sports this fall. Oh, man. And also, this comes as a bit of surprise. The running back Raheem Mostert has requested a trade from the San Francisco 49ers. I'll tell you something, y'all. The 49ers are going to have some problems this season. They're going to have some problems on offense. They might want to really try to get Antonio Brown because they lost Emmanuel Sanders. Deebo Samuels has a broken leg, and now their best running back. You still got Tevin Coleman. You still got Matt Breida. I get it. But Mostert was your best running back at least last year. So, I mean, it just keeps getting hotter and hotter out here. So, without further ado, where the buzzer? Man, I'm just waiting for when things get back to some semblance of normal. Well, I guess some semblance of normal has reappeared, but you know, we gotta do better with the fighting this virus, man. We do. And like I said last show, the arrogance and the ignorance of not just the American government but the American people is why we're still dealing with this thing. You know, Americans are so arrogant, ignorant, entitled, and privileged. And when I say privilege, I'm not saying anything like, you know, white privilege or anything like that. No, people marching up to a government building with a bunch of guns and rifles. No, that was white privilege. When I say privilege, I mean just for the freedom of being to come and go as you please. You know, we've gotten so entitled because we're not used to anybody telling us when we can and when we cannot leave the house or whether it's a good idea. But you have to understand this pandemic. They don't care about where you're from. And that's the arrogance of America. Well, I'm an American. I'll do what I want. Fuck this pandemic. It's not going to catch me. And then what happens? You know what I mean? So anyway, man, let's just stay safe. Let's stay smart, man. You know, let's stay safe. Let's stay smart because the fact of the matter is the numbers are spiking back up and now everything is reopening. You know, there's some places now that are going back into shutdown mode, which is honestly what we needed to do from Jump Street. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it till the cows come home. 3 months ago, when the shit first hit the fan, the nation should have had a mandatory at least 2 to 3 week lockdown where you couldn't do anything. I mean, if we gotta fight this thing, because what did we hear a couple of months ago, right when it was just starting to get hot? Well, they say the virus can't survive the heat. Really? And we're dealing with over 50,000 cases a day and with over 50,000 cases a day and 100-degree weather. So much for that notion. But anyway, it's your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. Be safe, be smart. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. If you have not hit that subscription button, hit that subscribe button and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. Again, it's your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. 2 episodes in 3 days. I've been on fire. I'm going to hit y'all back. I'm out this bitch. Peace.